you're doing a great job out there, Gary. Just keep doing what you're doing.
It's the off-season and we're behind the wheel of Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing's version of NASCAR's Garage 56 that we saw in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, just at the Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona instead, where I'm behind the wheel of this number 54 Toyota Camry. But not only was I in the Rolex 24 with a NASCAR presence, I was joined by Bubba Wallace, but RFK, Roush Fenway Keselowski as well, had an entry with Chris Buescher as their NASCAR driver behind the wheel of that Ford GT3 Mustang here, and we both would find ourselves on track together throughout this weekend of racing in this 24 Hours of Daytona. 3 stints I had scheduled in the car, and we found ourselves in the rain under the lights late in the night here in Daytona as we were trying to navigate very calmly and cautiously around this circuit. But overall, we're having a very impressive time out here in this Toyota Camry Garage 56 now. As you can see, the speed in this car capable of passing these GT3s. We were blowing by the RFK Ford Mustang without much issue. But my stint would wrap up in the middle of the night, and RFK co-owner Brad Keselowski as well was in the garage area to have a conversation with myself.
Nice to see you, Gary. How's your off-season been?
Yeah, man, it's been good. Obviously, sucks that we lost the title there last year. Didn't even get a chance to fight for it, but it is what it is. We're just honestly just trying to focus on this year.
I'm with you on that one. Listen, what's your plans for next year? Do you have a contract signed?
No, nothing yet. I'm in a contract year with the 19. Only signed a 2-year deal.
I'll let you know now I'm retiring at the end of this season. I'm looking for a driver, and I'd love to work with you. Can we talk some more soon?
I'm always open to conversation, but I think your car just crashed.
What the hell, Chris? Okay, let's talk later. I have to go deal with that.
We have a big conversation with Keselowski that sets the plot for Season 4 as we would wrap up our third and final stint to finish the 24 Hours of Daytona. We were in our own class, so we won and we lost at the same time, you could say. And that brought us in a week later to Charlotte Motor Speedway for preseason testing with this number 19 Topgolf new Toyota Camry. We have the brand new Camry body this season, and you see it right there. Looks absolutely fantastic. This would not be possible without 3D modeling work from Turn 4 Graphics as well. On top of that, Seaware for getting the car into the game, and then, I mean, all the painters making incredible paint schemes and whatnot that you guys are going to see today for the Cup Series at least, and you'll see Xfinity and trucks to follow soon. But I mean, an incredible season on the way as we were getting acclimated with this new Toyota Camry body here in preseason testing, as everybody of course in the field here this weekend trying to just understand where the cars are at. And we as well have the new Honda in the field this season as well. A few teams have switched over to Honda in the Cup Series, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series as well. Honda has expanded into all 3 as they try to show their commitment to the sport. But overall, pretty happy with the car early on, as James Small asks about it.
How's it feeling so far, mate?
I like it so far. So far, so good, basically, is the proper way to describe this car. But yeah, I mean, we would wrap up preseason testing pretty happy and focus in now on the Daytona 500, and we'll talk about the calendar. We'll talk about the format. There is a brand new points format that was announced in the off season. You guys will hear about that in just a moment, but let's look at all of the paint schemes, or the majority of the paint schemes here you're going to see on some cars this season. Ignore driver pictures. I might cover them in the video, I might not, but ignore them either way. The driver pictures are the only thing that's not correct right now. You see my paint schemes, the only thing missing there is you don't see the Gatorade car. Shane Van Gisbergen, Trackhouse Honda this season. You see the Red Bull 97. There will be more schemes for him. Bubba Wallace there on that brand new Toyota Camry body in that number 23 with a few new paint schemes now. Of course, all the painters, big shout out to them. You'll see them down below in the description. Connor Zilish in the third Andretti Global car on your screen right there. But you're going to get an updated roster graphic towards the later part of this video, so you can kind of get an idea, because you're going to see a lot of new drivers here, as this season is a big swing in a rookie class. We're getting a really large rookie class this season that is coming in, as teams wanted to hop on some of these young prospect talents coming from Xfinity Xfinity, while they could get them, basically just try to grab them while they could, so that way they wouldn't lose them. So that's bringing a lot of young drivers into the field this season that are going to have a very tough learning curve coming into the Cup Series. So it's going to be interesting to watch these rookies develop over the course of the next few seasons. Kyle Busch, love the paint schemes he's got on that 99 Trackhouse Honda this season now. William Byron with some new paint schemes as well, as they'll continue to go across your screen here over the next few minutes. Xfinity Truck Series revamped as well, like I said, but you'll see the paint schemes for them in the next episode in Daytona and whatnot. Rajah Caruth to Hendrick Motorsports this season, a big deal. Of course, one of the bigger roster moves and moments coming into this season. Of course, he really took off in the later part of last season in the Xfinity Series now, as you see Meyer Shanks, Austin Cindric now in the 06. He goes over there, but of course, some drivers coming back up from Xfinity, like Cole Custer's full-time for Rick Ware Racing, Christian Eckes to Rick Ware Racing, as Rick Ware has really put some resources into getting some more full-time cars into this season, which is exciting as well, as they, of course, really benefited last season from the Colleague charter situation and the sales and whatnot. Colleague, of course, took a big hit, and now they're down to just one full-time car with Josh Berry this season, as you did see the defending champion of Ty Gibbs. Maybe the biggest upgrade of all, Todd Gilliland going from the 34 at Front Row Motorsports to Penske Racing's number 2. Don't forget, we got Noah Gregson in the 88 for Dale Jr.'s team coming up into the Cup Series, taking over Stewart Haas Racing's assets. That is a junior motorsports team in the Cup Series. Finally, after many years of waiting, we make it happen here, at least in the career mode. Corey Heim in the third full-time 2311 car for this season, and the FedEx number 11 does remain on the grid, as you guys know. The 3, Austin Hill, now behind the wheel as Austin Dillon steps down from full-time driving, as he and Kevin Harvick now are in a co-owning leadership role at Richard Childress Racing due to Richard Childress stepping down. I expect to see that team get better as the season goes on with that new leadership there. You see all the schemes for Carson Hocevar, a lot of schemes for him. One career win to his name. Eric Jones behind the wheel of the number 34 for Front Row Motorsports this season. Brad Keselowski, he told us himself he's retiring at the end of the season, but it is not announced yet. It is not official, so that will be coming soon. We'll wait and see how long he takes to actually put that out into the public now. As you see Joey Logano schemes on his car, all the same from last season. Some schemes are the same, a lot of schemes are new. Jesse Love to Richard Childress Racing, of course, as they are now a 3-car team, with Jesse Love as a rookie, Alex Bowman, Austin Hill as well. What can Jesse Love do after going from Joe Gibbs Racing as an Xfinity champion in the Xfinity Series last season, now up to the Cup Series in what is expected to be a pretty mid team, at least to start here now. So yeah, like I said, if this is going a little bit too quick, there's going to be a graphic at the end here where we're going to go over the actual roster, so you guys can see all the numbers and the names that will be behind the wheel of those cars there. Nick Sanchez, another rookie full-time for the 3rd Andretti Global cars. They expand to 3 cars this season as well. As you see, William Sawalich called up to the 43. Chandler Smith, of course, our new teammate in the 18, as Hamlin's number 11 goes to his team, as he's expected to start in the Daytona 500 as well, which is going to be exciting there, as you see the Andretti Global Honda. Now, the big thing this season is the new calendar, but on top of that, the new format. I put basically what we do in your guys' hands, and you guys voted on should we keep the playoffs. We had a very controversial end to last season. Do we go with the playoff format, or do we switch over to the classic 10-race chase? After a lot of taking input from everybody, including community members, the paint guys, as well as just people in the Discord, and just my heart thinking as well, as the story goes, NASCAR has decided over the offseason, after kind of Ty Gibbs winning the championship in the way that he did, it forced their hand to make a change. The playoffs will remain for at least one more season, depending on how this season goes. And it's simple. It's the typical classic playoff format we all know. 16 drivers, you win, you're in the playoffs. The difference is the final 4-round does not come down to a winner-take-all single race anymore. The Final Four round is going to be a proper playoff round consisting of 3 races. So the playoffs now will be 12 races in length. The regular season is now down to 24. So we lose 2 regular season races. And you see the calendar on your screen. It looks quite a bit different. One of the biggest things outside of the format is Charlotte has 3 dates on the calendar, with the Coke 600 in race number 12, the Charlotte Road Course in race 26, and they have now been granted the season finale for the 36th round. I've always wanted a Charlotte finale, but I didn't want a Coke 600 finale. It's just 2 big events that could be separated, but Charlotte feels like a proper place to end a NASCAR season in my eyes, and I felt like Charlotte on this calendar is separated enough to make sense. So the big thing is, you can see as well, race 5, before we move on, race 5, Sonoma Raceway, that will be returning to the current IRL layout that we see in Sonoma instead of the older NASCAR Heat 5 version that we've always been at. That's another exciting addition coming to this calendar. But we look at, well, now we know the playoff format. It's all the same, but the Final Four round, we're going to likely get a proper champion now, as they actually have 3 races to determine who's going to get the most points. So if you win a race in the final round, or in the Final Four round as a Final Four driver, it no longer locks you into anything. It's just simply going to come down to points, which I think is a great addition to this format. So the regular season will end in the 24th round, as usual, at Daytona International Speedway, to give a potential wildcard entry into the playoffs. And then the first round will consist of Chicagoland, Charlotte Roval, and Auto Club. After that, we will go from 16 drivers down to 12. Then the round of 12. Auto Club, Richmond, Kentucky, 3 very different tracks. Sorry, Richmond, Kentucky, Watkins Glen, 3 different tracks. And after that Watkins Glen race, we will go from 12 to 8 drivers, and the round of 8 will consist of Homestead, Miami, a wild card in Talladega, and then a road course in Mid-Ohio. So we get a road course in every round of the playoffs, with road course racing being such a prominent thing now in NASCAR. It felt fitting to have at least one in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs now, and that will take us into the Final Four. 4 drivers will remain to fight for a championship across the most difficult track in terms of oval racing on Earth, Darlington. Then we go to the short track of Martinsville, beating and banging. Drivers going to get aggressive, looking for any point they can. And then the 1.5 mile winner take all in Charlotte, depending on what the points gap looks like now. But we finally have a championship that will be determined on points, because we get 3 races to determine a championship in that Final Four round. I hope I did a good job and made it clear. It's a very simple change, so it should be pretty easy to follow along, but I will be making sure all season long to make sure that you guys are very much in the know of what's going on and what's happening, as I have in the past. Finally, let's just talk about the updated roster here this season now. Meyershank Racing is the first team that we see a change out of with the 06. Daniel Suarez, he's actually going to Trackhouse again, but in their Xfinity team. So Suarez reunited with Trackhouse Racing. Overall, Trackhouse in the Cup Series, the only change they see is the actual manufacturer. They go to Honda Power. But we see Todd Gilliland hop into the number 2 for Penske Racing. Austin Hill jumps into the number 3 for Richard Childress Racing. Alongside him, of course, you got his teammates now of Alex Bowman and rookie Jesse Love. That's going to be an exciting one there. And then Hendrick Motorsports sees that change with Rajah Caruth going into the number 48 car. RFK, we know, has expanded to 4 cars this season, bringing over Chase Briscoe into the number 98. That's going to be an exciting one there. JRM, of course, jumps up into the Cup Series, a new team on the grid this season with the number 8 and 88 with Hocevar and Noah Gregson. 2311 Racing expands to 3 cars, so alongside Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace, you got Corey Heim, who will be behind the wheel of the number 11, and part-time starts from multiple drivers this season in a 4th 2311 car, including Denny Hamlin in the Daytona 500. Rick Ware Racing, as we mentioned already, expands to 3 full-time rides, consisting of rookie Christian Eckes, but as well Ryan Preece once again going to try and bring that team a little bit forward, as he had a pretty solid season last time out. and as well Cole Custer behind the wheel of the number 52. Joe Gibbs Racing, we see the change, of course, with our new teammate Chandler Smith in the number 18 after going from colleague, who shuts down his ride basically, and he won Rookie of the Year. Andretti Global, they expanded to 3 full-time cars with two rookies, so they keep Sammy Smith for another season, but Nick Sanchez and Connor Zilish jump up into the 26 and 28 Andretti Global car. Front Row Motorsports now brings on a brand new lineup with Eric Jones jumping over from Legacy Motor Club, Zane Smith as well, as Wood Brothers Racing are downgrading to just part-time competition, as they still will be on the grid at times. Legacy Motor Club as well, John Hunter Nemechek remains with the team, but William Sawalich now into the number 43 full-time as a Cup Series rookie, dominated the Xfinity Series, but couldn't quite wrap up a championship last season. That's the big roster changes coming into this season. You'll see many part-time starts from several drivers and cars. Martin Truex Jr., another big name we'll see on the grid again this season. But we'll go over Xfinity and Truck Series rosters in the Daytona 500 episode, including showing the new paint schemes on those trucks and cars. But that's it for the off-season video. We've already got a story developing with Brad Keselowski showing interest in us as he will retire at the end of this season. And that's going to wrap it up for me. I'll see you guys in the next episode, which will be the Season 4 opening round in the crown jewel of NASCAR, the Daytona 500. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.